My heart was breaking for Simone as she found out more details about her current cancer status. What's up, y'all? And welcome to the Lawrence Support Tonight's broadcast discussing episode 6 of All American Homecoming. Like I said, my heart, I hate this for Simone, but unfortunately, this is a real storyline for a lot of young people in today's time. There is somebody right now in college that's currently facing cancer. So my heart absolutely was hurting for Simone in this episode right here. Not to mention, we got JR. JR is trying to pick up the pieces in his relationship, right? He's been not necessarily romantic because he's been so focused on baseball, but did y'all notice how Keisha seemed a little bit jealous? We'll talk about it. And not to mention, we got Nate. Nate is in this episode. There's a situation with him and a cousin from the past, but he's kind of hurt by something that the cousin did in the past, y'all. Let's get into it. But before we start, it'd be greatly appreciated if you guys could hit that subscribe button, like, and please don't forget to comment as well. Let's get into All American Homecoming, y'all. Okay, so Simone is dealing with this cancer, and the way they opened up this episode, man, I thought this was so real, but they end up tricking us. But man, you know, we see Simone going through it. You know, she got the bandana on. You know, whenever you're going through cancer and things of that nature, her face looks kind of puffy, skin coloration is not necessarily there. Man, they really got me real good with this right here. But it turns out it was just a bad dream, but it really is a nightmare having to go through something of this nature right here, right? Now, Simone was kind of grappling in this episode with a choice of tennis versus battling and basically trying to battle cancer, and at the same time put all of this around her. And it's a lot to handle, trying to battle both of these worlds. And it's almost like Simone had to choose, right? We do find out, and we see in this episode, she does end up going to the doctor, but Keisha, and I appreciate Keisha being a great friend to her, and it was revealed also for Keisha that her mother has been going, well, her mother went through cancer, but unfortunately her mother lost her life. So I think it's one of the reasons why this right here hurts Keisha so much to see her best friend have to go through this. But anyway, Simone is going to the doctor. The doctor said we caught it at stage 1. The issue is, you know, when it comes to you having kids, you know, you're going to be required to take these hormonal type shots to help you battle this cancer, right? And Simone's like, okay, cool, we caught it stage 1, cool. But there's one minor issue. Whenever they go through these hormonal treatments or whatever, it's during a 6 to 8 week process, right? And we know that Simone is basically playing tennis during this time, right? So during this 6 to 8 weeks time period, Simone is like, listen, I can't do this. I've got to focus on tennis. But I'm like, Simone, listen, this is a life and death situation. I understand that tennis is your baby. I understand you came here from California to Georgia. I understand you gave up baby Shay. I understand all that. But at the end of the day, it's all about life versus tennis. And some of her friends like Nate and them, they was not feeling it. They was like, as a matter of fact, Nate was like, yo, I can't get on board with this right here. Because what she was going to do, she's going to try to hide it from Coach Lonnie, right? And Simone figured out that, you know, I could do this right here during this timetable, yada, yada, yada. Nate is not feeling it. The other people, they really not feeling it, but they're going to try to support Simone in the best way they know how. So not only does she hide it from Coach Lonnie, right? I appreciate Thea. Thea was MVP, right? You know, in this episode, I think they called it Hell Week, right? When it came to tennis. And Thea stepped up to the plate and was like, listen, I can help, you know, train Simone. I know she's going through this right now. That's what she was thinking in her head, but she couldn't say it out loud to Coach Lonnie, right? And at the same time, we got Keisha here. Again, you know, she's helping Simone with the shots. So I thought that was great of her. Now, you can hide it from Coach Lonnie. You can try to get around it, but we saw in a preview, I don't know how you're going to hide that from Auntie Amara, because Auntie Amara is coming next episode. So you may survive this one, but it ain't gonna happen with with Auntie Amara. So, but we do know this right here. During family dinner, Nate and everybody else eventually comes around, right? They are going to support Simone, even though they don't necessarily agree with it. They'd rather for her to just give up tennis altogether, and I completely understand how they're feeling, because it's literally life versus death at this point, sometimes when it comes to cancer. But we're going to see how this storyline continues to play out for Simone. I'm hoping for the best, and I know she's going to beat this. If there's one person that can beat cancer, it is Simone. Let's switch gears and talk about my guy, JR. Now, JR has been so focused on trying to get baseball back, and trying to go behind these advisors' backs and just trying to get this thing back the way he wanted, right? He cannot let baseball go. We get it. And we see him and his girlfriend there, Gabby. They're together making out, and she gets some great news that she's been accepted. I think it was into some type of program, right? And JR's like, cool, let me tag along, let me see if I can help. She's like, no, you good. Focus on baseball. And JR feels some type of way, but I understand how she's feeling, because baseball has driven a wedge. I feel like, it's basically driven a wedge somewhat in their relationship, right? So he's having a conversation with Keisha, and Keisha decides that, I'm gonna help him out. I'm gonna help you out. And at the same time, they're planning a romantic date for Gabby and JR, which was dope. But I think we all noticed, Keisha was a little bit jealous, right? And I'm like, Keisha, your man Cam could do the same exact thing. Why are you jealous of JR and Gabby? The issue is with Keisha, she's so indecisive, and I feel like she always create problems that are not really there, and it causes even bigger problems because it was never supposed to be a problem to begin with. So that's my grip about Keisha. But anyway, JR, Gabby's date goes great. They said something about Ravenclaw. I'm assuming that's like Hunger Games book or something like that they made up. So happy to see JR and Gabby trying to get on the right pace together, right? And as far as Keisha, we're just gonna have to see what's gonna happen with Keisha. I don't know if they're gonna break up JR and Gabby. I hope they do not do that, because if they do that, it's gonna basically be JR and Keisha looking like Jordan and Layla 2.0. And I know if we had another season, if this show did not get canceled, I know these writers were gonna do that. I know they're gonna do that. We'll see. As far as Nate, right? Nate gets a visit from a cousin from the past. You know how you grow up with those cousins and you're like, we're gonna do everything together, we're gonna graduate school together, we're gonna go here, we're gonna do that. That's what Nate thought. It didn't happen like that. Unfortunately, his cousin, she did some hurtful things to Nate growing up. Nate is basically non-binary, right? And during his transition as a kid, trying to find himself, his cousin posted a viral meme that kind of affected Nate, right? And Nate never forgot that. That stuck with Nate all her life. And when the cousin comes in town, she says she's here in Atlanta for work. The cousin actually a lawyer, and she's trying to hook Nate up, if I'm not mistaken, with a job as well. It was Cheryl. I can't think of her last name right now, but I know I think she has worked at the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. I think I follow her on social media. But yeah, Nate was surprised, like, yo, why'd you want to do that? And Nate does reveal to his cousin that, you said some hurtful things to me growing up. That meme definitely hurt me as a child growing up. And the cousin, we find out that the cousin is actually she's a lawyer, right? So she's actually a junior lawyer, trial lawyer, I think. She's actually representing the kid or the kids in general who end up beating up Ezra. And when Nate finds out, she absolutely spazzes, right? And some relationships just can't be repaired, or some relationships just may not never be the same. And I feel like that's what we saw on this episode with Nate and her cousin, right? Because she felt like that the cousin was actually still a snake in the grass, because they even said that, whoa, well, you came here just to get dirt, right? About Ezra. I felt bad for Nate. Certain people in your family, you feel like you're gonna ride or die with forever, but that's not always the case. And even if y'all do patch things up, sometimes it's just not the same. So all in all, this was a great episode of All American Homecoming. They're absolutely cooking right now. I'm loving these episodes right here. It sucks that this season is the last season. I would have wanted one more, but it is what it is. The team is going to rally behind Simone. She's going to get through this. It's going to be interesting to see the way they maneuver this over these next couple episodes. So I can't wait to see that. But I'm also wondering, when is Damon going to come back? When is Damon going to come back? It's definitely different without him being on the show. But that's my thoughts about American Homecoming. Don't forget to subscribe and comment. And as always, thank you for tuning in to the Lawrence Report.